How to catch shiny Galarian Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres in Pokemon GO. On Friday, October 4th at 10 a.m. at your local time, the shiny Galarian birds will officially be in Pokemon GO, and I'm sure every single one of you wants to get your hands on one. So I thought it would be a good idea to dive into the best ways to get your hands on one of these shiny Galarian birds. So with that being said, let's dive into it. Now I know it goes without saying for most of you that in order for you to get your hands on a Galarian bird, you need to pop the Daily Adventure Incense, which is the blue incense in your inventory. And if you're a new player and you don't have this in your inventory just yet, you can go into your special research tab, and the Daily Adventure Incense research is in there. You just got to complete one little task and you'll get your Daily Adventure Incense. But this incense can only last for 15 whole minutes. There are events where you can extend the time frame, and there are some special abilities that we'll dive into later where you can extend this timer, but for the most part, you only have 15 minutes to go for those Galarian birds. And the spawn rates for the Galarian birds on the Daily Adventure Incense are very, very low. You can go an entire month to 2 months to even 3 months without even seeing one Galarian legendary bird. But there are a few factors in which you can help increase the chances of you finding this Galarian bird. As you know, all the Galarian legendary birds are flying type Pokemon, which means windy weather will increase their chance of spawning from the Daily Adventure Incense. But if you're looking for a specific Galarian bird, you can also use its other typing to help you out. So if you're looking for a Zapdos, you want cloudy weather because it's a fighting type as well, which means cloudy weather boosts its spawn rate. If you want to get Galarian Moltres, it is a dark type, which means you need to get foggy weather, which is incredibly hard to get in this game. And if you want Articuno, you gotta stay with the windy weather. It is a flying and psychic type, which means windy weather is the only weather type that boosts its spawn rate. The only downside to the weather boost is that it makes the Galarian bird a little bit harder to catch. But when you're barely seeing any, I'm sure you're willing to take that risk. Now, I'm sure for every one of you that have encountered a Galarian legendary bird, you're used to seeing it run away, which is pretty rough. But I'm happy to say that Niantic has confirmed that a shiny Galarian bird will not run from you at all. Now, that doesn't mean you're gonna get it on the first throw, but that does mean that after you make your first throw and it breaks out, it will never run away. The only thing that'll cause it to run away is if you disengage with it and it despawns, or if your phone crashes, which I hear iPhone has a bit of an issue with right now. But if it's a shiny Galarian bird, you can throw as many balls at it as you want. And hopefully it won't take you too long to get, but unfortunately, because it has such a low catch rate, you might be spending a lot of time on trying to catch this thing. The best way to catch it is by using a golden raspberry and an ultra ball and trying to land an excellent curveball throw. All of those combined gives you the best catch rate, besides using the master ball, but personally, I wouldn't recommend you using it. This is a Pokemon that is never going to run from you, so why use the guaranteed catch Pokeball on a Pokemon that you're never going to lose? Though admittedly, there is one scenario in which you definitely want to use your Master Ball on it, and that is if you lose all of your Pokeballs, Great Balls, and Ultra Balls trying to catch this thing. It's a low chance, but if you have hundreds of these Pokeballs and you use every single one of them, I would say use the Master Ball in that instance because at least you're going to catch it. You can't say you didn't try, you just got incredibly unlucky. But in the end of the day, it's all RNG. You could use a Nanab Berry and a Pokeball and critically catch it right away, or you could spend 100 Ultra Balls and Golden Raspberries and not even get close to catching it. But something that will increase your chance of catching this Galarian legendary bird are these medals right here. As you can see, these are all the typing medals. And in order to get platinum with them, you need to catch 2,500 of the specific Pokemon for every single one of these. But if we go back to flying types real quick, you'll notice at the very bottom, because it is a platinum medal, I get +4 flying type catch bonus, which means not only do I get the bonus of having an excellent curveball throw with a golden raspberry and an ultra ball, but I get +4 for the flying types, which is good since every single one of these Galarian birds is a flying type. And this does stack as well. As I mentioned before, Galarian Zapdos is a fighting type, so not only am I getting +4 for the flying types, but I'm getting the same bonus for fighting types as well, which is like +8. And again, for dark types for Galarian Moltres, that is also the case. So make sure that you work on these medals as well so that you have a higher chance of catching this Pokemon faster. And this also works for Galarian Articuno since it is a flying and psychic type. It's only affected by one weather boost, but these medals do stack, so there is +8 if you have platinum for every single one of these medals for the Galarian bird that you're trying to catch. Another way to increase your chance of running into a shiny Galarian birds is this right here, Origin Dialga. And the reason why I say this is because it has a special ability if you have one with Roar of Time. As you can see, Roar of Time distorts time for 6 minutes, causing the timers of Incense, Lucky Egg, Star Pieces, and Daily Adventure Incense extending their duration, aka it pauses everything. And you can do this up to 2 hours at a time and up to 24 hours a day if you have the candy and Stardust to do it. But the downside is, there's no way to Elite Charge TM this move onto this Pokemon as of right now. The only way to get your hands on these is either raiding them when they're available and hoping you get the move because it's not a guarantee, or by trading somebody that has a few. As you can see, if I go through my collection right now, this one doesn't have one, this one doesn't have one, neither does this one, neither does this one, but this one does. You know what I mean? Like, it's all random. But if you were to run into me or another player that played during the Sinnoh Tour event, and we had an extra one, you could offer to trade for it. And when you trade upgrade for it, the move does stay. You don't have to worry about anything like that. And then you'll have an Origin Dialga with the move. It might not be good for anything else but to use the move, but in the end of the day, all you want is Roar of Time. But I should mention that it is a little expensive. If I were to try to do this for 2 hours right now, it would be 100,000 Stardust and 100 candies. Which means at the moment, with my 250,000, I can only do this for 4 whole hours. Even though I have plenty of candies to go even longer, I need far more dust. So this is a bit of a costly way to go for these Galarian Legendary birds, and you can go the whole 2 to 24 hours without seeing a single one of them because their spawn rate is that low. Though there is still a chance that you could run into multiples. I've done 15-minute daily incenses and seen 2 to 3 birds per, and then I've done 2+ to 6 hour long ones and haven't gotten any Galarian birds from them. Again, it's all RNG in the end of the day if you even see one. And then you gotta hope that you hit that 1 in 20 chance to get that shiny. So don't expect to run into one of these anytime soon, but you could also get stupid lucky and then pop the Daily Adventure Incense and get it in like the second encounter. Again, RNG is a very fickle thing. But one more thing to mention about Origin Form Dialga is that it is returning to Pokemon GO during the Wild Area events, both in Fukuoka, Japan, and the global event. The Fukuoka event is from November 16th to the 17th. It's an in-person event only, and I don't know if you can be invited to remote raids for those, but the global event is happening from November 23rd to the 24th, and that is global, so you can do remotes for them, and you'll be able to do in-person raids for them as well. So if you're watching this video before those timeframes, make sure to go for those raids and try to get yourself at least one Origin Dialga with the move. It doesn't have to be a good one, though obviously if you get a hundo with one, that's amazing. But you only really need one, and then you're set for the rest of your gameplay for this game. And again, at this current moment, you cannot Elite Charge TM for Roar of Time on any of your Origin Dialgas. Though in the future, you never know, it could happen, but it feels like something they're not going to do for quite some time. Another way for you to extend the timer on the Daily Adventure Incense is by waiting for an event where that becomes an opportunity. There's been a few events where you could extend the duration of your star pieces, your lucky eggs, or the Daily Adventure Incense by 15 minutes. So if you really want to get your hands on a Galarian Legendary bird and you don't really care about Stardust or XP, it's worth getting that 30-minute timer instead of the 15-minute timer. But those events have happened few and far between. And here's every single one of the Galarian Legendary birds I have personally caught. I have 2 Articunos, I think I have 4 Zapdoses, which is pretty cool, and then I have 2 Moltreses. And every single one of these, for the most part, were caught with pretty bad throws, though I did throw a Golden Raspberry and an Ultra Ball. And specifically, this Moltres right here did get caught on the first ball. Some of them popped out and I had another chance, but this one was definitely something that I caught right away off the first throw. But that's something I want to dive into, is that you'll notice at the top, it says it has 41 CP. This is a level 1 Galarian bird. And level does have a huge factor when it comes down to catching these things, because the higher level of the Pokemon is, the harder it is to catch. So that's another thing to factor in. If you have a very high CP shiny Galarian bird, though it's not gonna run away from you, it's gonna give you a bit of a fight. And that's all I've got for you in today's video. I hope you found it informative. In the end of the day, it's all RNG, and hopefully you run into one, but hopefully you learned something. And if you did, don't forget to smash that subscribe button for me. Show me some love. And let me know in the comments down below which of the shiny Galarian birds you want to get the most. And if you're really enjoying the content and you want to see even more of it, I highly suggest this video over here. But with that being said, I'll see you in the next one.